So hi, I'm Vincent Ghovandi, 244006190. Today I'm gonna explain the current institution and policy process in the EU. With the specific issue is about the EU's decision making and new laws passing. So European countries agree to establish a European Union that work together where they need to. EU is an international organization and is a family of democratic European countries working together to improve the lives of European citizens and build a better place to live for them. But specifically, do you know how the EU is governed? What are the important institutions in it and how do they work? So in this video, we will be looking at those things, but let me start with a brief explanation and time to withdraw to the history of the EU itself. It all started with the Napoleonic War, the World War One, the Second World War, Holocaust, and the nuclear annihilation, and all these changed the world of politics. Then the Winston Churchill once said that we must build a kind of United States of Europe, and it is stated in the Schuman Declaration of 1950, which contained a plan to combine Europe both politically and economically. As Europe became prosperous, they started with the coal and steel. And this declaration also began with combining the two biggest rivals in Europe, the Germany and the France, and then Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Italy started to feel interested in it and built the coal and steel community. And since then, the European community has expanded largely and is now arguably the most successful organization ever. And you might be curious about how the situation can change significantly from the merger of European countries, including relations between two rival nations, to become very close. But the development became the one significant factor for the state, and the European Union offered many benefits for its members. So they no longer thought of the war or fierce competition with each other. First, the most significant values of the European Union is the tariff-free trade, and it leads to the more employment, higher GDP, and the growth. Then the investment and attraction, as the EU is considered to have a fast market, labor market. They have a very flexible path and free movement. They also have to follow the law that provided by the EU. EU members are also forced to pay specific fees for the development of the European Union they participate and join in. And whether it is good or bad, it also raises the immigration. It raised the immigrants from countries who came and went. And all of this then leads to the global actors, and the regional impact becomes more global. As the EU is the largest multi-nation single market, countries will collectively agree on a trade deals with countries outside the Union. It might be different to the single market essence, but that's what the members can do. The EU also want to make Europe count more and on the global stage, so that it will play the role of internal and international negotiator. The EU play as the internal and international negotiator. This then makes companies that want to invest in EU member countries have to adopt EU law, which has to do with companies following the EU wage standard, and the existing ideas must also be adapted to European conditions. Labor practices must also be based on what EU policy is. Moreover, the pieces of equipment and materials are have to be from the EU-based companies. And this then show how the EU is highly bureaucratized and enforce the regulation on all public projects, even if they are outside of the European continent. And this then makes the EU look like it's binding on every private individual, and newcomers have to adjust on everything. However, there will be questions such as how the EU can do it all and make the policies apply domestically and internationally. And this is all because of the sets of institutions within the European Union, which are the European Council, Council of the European Union, European Commission, European Parliament, and the EU Court of Justice. However, only some institutions are role with the making decisions and passing laws in the Union. 3 institutions hold this role are the European Commission, the Council of European, and the European Parliament. But let me start with the European Commission first, who takes the decision making and passing laws role. A European Commission consists of 28 members, one for each EU country, and this institution functions as the EU civil service, and each member state is a commissioner who serves a fixed term. The task of European Commission is to propose legislation on EU law and is responsible for the execution and accepted law. The Commission can also find the company that breaks any rule, and the head of European Commission decide what agenda and responsibility each member get. And the European Commission also represent the interests of the Union as a whole. Next, we have the Council of European Union. It represents the individual member state legislation that drafted by the European Commission, and the legislation that drafted by the European Commission must pass both the Council of the European Union by qualified majority and the European Parliament before it can be adopted by countries. At the Council of European Union, the national ministers have the authority to commit their governments to the actions agreed on in the meeting. It also develops the EU's foreign and security policies based on European Council guidelines. And you all need to know that the Council of European Union is a separate institution from the European Council. And another decision holder is the European Parliament, which was elected by the European citizens first elected by European citizens in 1979. The institution has increased its power and can be considered as a proper assembly now. They can debate and approve law with the help of the council. In the parliament, each member state has several seats that assign to represent the EU citizens because they are directly elected by the citizens. Indeed, Parliament cannot be introduced the law, but it can approve, dismiss, or ask for change. On all the tasks, of course, through various process and that are also long and extended, it all started from the idea of law, then made the draft of it, officially propose it, and have it accepted. But the point is on the officially propose it on the third steps, which is called the rights of initiative, that the rights that only belong and got by the European Commission. But the Council, Parliament, and the Court of Justice still have their own weight of putting the ideas on the discussion table. And the European Council also should look into it and consider it first. If the other institutions can also reject the idea, if the Commission can explain why they left the request, meaning that if the Council, Parliament, and the Court of Justice propose a law to the Commission will consider it first and can both can either accept or reject it. But if the Commission reject it, they have to explain why they reject it first. And but let's talk about the rights of initiative owned by the European Commission first. From the draft owned by and used as a law proposal, the European Commission must send it to the Parliament, the Council, and the national parliament. The Parliament and the Council can be passed and amended based on both parties' agreement. However, if an agreement cannot be reached between the two parties, the Parliament and the Council, they can issue a new version which will be processed again by the European Commission. But what about the national parliament? From the explanation above, from the explanation before, the national parliament does not have a direct role in it, but they can still reject the principle. They can reject the law with the principle of subsidiary. The adjustment that is the adjustment to the policies that apply in their country first. Moreover, the new laws can also be proposed depending on the subject by the 25% of member states, the Court of Justice, the European Investment Bank, the European Central Bank, and most importantly, 1 million EU citizens from at least 7 member states. So that's it. Thank you.